Hello everyone, my name is Christian and I hope you are safe and healthy. I'm here to present my study with Leif Garinto on the Philippine Department of Tourism's new normal travel videos and the commodification of the COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 has brought unprecedented challenges to the Philippine tourism industry as tourist activities declined. Westerman in 2021 notes that the Philippines lost an estimated $8 billion in tourism revenue. This is crucial as tourism comprises 12% of the national GDP. In addition, COVID-19 has stimulated mixed feelings about travel. Based on the Ian Group's survey, Filipinos indicated their ambivalence. 31% of respondents noting feelings of fear, while when asked if they felt safe, 70% of respondents responded positively. In an attempt to restart the tourism economy and generate confidence in the industry, the Philippine Department of Tourism, DOT, launched a campaign, New Normal for Traveling in 2020, to educate tourists and stakeholders regarding standard safety and health protocols of the industry as it transitions to the new normal while supporting the promotion of domestic tourism. The campaign offers an entry point into understanding changes in promotional tourism discourse brought on by COVID-19 that are enacted through multimodal practices. The study examines a video series, Travel in the New Normal, produced by the campaign and investigates the ways in which COVID-19 is constructed alongside touristic consumption and mobility. A growing number of works in tourism examine the role of mediated and mediatizing practices in the construction and selling of places. One of the most notable is Uri's work in 2005 that notes globalizing forces and mediascapes represent tourist areas as places of consumption and mobility, defining them in terms of abstract characteristics such as luxury and exclusivity. Practices related to tourism, according to Thurlow and Jaworski, are fundamentally semiotic, since what tourists consume during their travels are images and lifestyles that are also prefigured in mediated forms, such as travel vlogs, advertisements, and online videos. While tourist promotion practices have received scholarly attention, the ways in which COVID-19 intersects with travel remains underexplored. As a way of addressing this gap, the study mobilizes the notion of crisis commodification, which refers to a meta-semiotic practices that imbues goods with a novel sign value. Reformulating life under crisis as a commodity register with an associated set of material consumption practices. As such, the study seeks to explore the role of various semiotic resources in DOT's discursive and semiotic attempts to draw alignments between existing notions of travel and mandated health protocols, to position pandemic leisure travel as desirable while downplaying its negative aspects. Videos from the New Normal Travel series serves as a data for analysis. These were collected from DOT's official YouTube channel. Details about the videos are listed in Table 1 as you can see. The study follows Rose 2016 in performing a qualitative analysis of select key frames that were chosen based on their potential to raise key analytical points. The study adopts a multimodal discourse analytic approach in analyzing the videos. The visual analysis draws from Kress and Van Leuven's social semiotic framework. Particular attention is given to shot distance, information value, and camera angles for visual aspects of the chosen frames. Meanwhile, strategies identified by Riesel and Wodak in their discourse historical approach are utilized as complementary analytical tools, specifically nomination, predication, argumentation, perspectivation, and intensification/mitigation. These concepts will be fleshed out in the succeeding slides. The referential strategy or nomination concerns the creation of in-groups and out-groups vis-a-vis represented social actors and phenomena. Figure 1 shows a tourism marshal calling the attention of tourists who are playing beach volleyball to remind them to maintain social distance. In this scene, he mobilizes nominations through membership categorization. The marshal utters, "Ma'am, sir, I am a marshal, and you are required to socially distance on the beach." By using conventionalized terms of address and identifying his social position, the marshal constructs his addressees as guests and differentiates himself from them. This differentiation is also visually accomplished. The camera angle, for instance, shows high involvement with the tourist police directly looking at the camera and by extension the viewer. Moreover, the camera distance utilizes a long shot, conveying relative objectivity. The combination of these modalities reinforce differentiation between tourists and tourism workers. Alongside these differentiated roles, the video is able to integrate health protocols with tourist activities. The imposition of health protocol communicated through the text, for instance in Figure 2, is mitigated through the polysemy of PDA, which may be interpreted locally as public display of affection, and a life-size cardboard cutout of the NBA player LeBron James, serving as a metric for social distancing. Through these elements, the urgency of the pandemic is managed through humorous enforcement of the protocols, thereby making it compatible with existing notions of leisure travel, that it must be fun, while at the same time emphasizing how travel has changed due to the pandemic. Predication involves the attribution of traits, characteristics, and qualities to social actors, objects, and phenomena through discursive qualifications. The most dominant strategy in the videos is using adjectives that emphasize symbolic facets of travel, which are invoked alongside health and safety protocols, thereby drawing a semblance of commensurability. For instance, Figure 3 shows dining procedures in an establishment that follows health protocols. The scene is accompanied by a voiceover that describes dining capacity in terms of exclusivity, which pragmatically accomplishes at least two things. First, it reinforces a degree of eliteness by constructing pandemic dining as exclusive, which in the context of video relates to avoiding crowds. And second, simultaneously emphasizing convenience and comfort for travelers. A presupposition of these points is that it is due to the pandemic that such exclusivity is made possible. Cleanliness is also hailed as a desirable attribute of traveling during the pandemic. Figure 4 shows a cleaning staff with hotel guests passing by. The linguistic and visual modalities of this frame reflect a resematization of public displays of sanitation or hygiene theater. The voiceover and imagery express commitment to maintaining cleanliness at an impeccable level. While hotels are supposed to regularly clean their establishments, foregrounding this practice through language and images enables a DOT to suggest that establishments have a degree of control over the pandemic. Argumentation refers to the validity of specific claims of truth and normative rightness to persuade audiences. Denomination and predication strategies contribute to the overall argumentation scheme of the videos. Figures 5 and 6 specifically illustrate instances of predication contributing to the implicit argument about the new normal of travel, that traveling is possible if not desirable during the pandemic. The voiceovers that accompany the images draw relations between travel discourse and health protocols. In Figure 5, for instance, we see a tourist undergoing temperature check with a voiceover accompanying that says, "The hottest hotspots are popping." Figure 6 shows a close-up shot of a bottle of hand sanitizer dispensing alcohol to a hand, while the voiceover announces, "The bottles of alcohol are flowing." Through such juxtapositions, the DOT is able to discursively layer conventional tourism promotion discourse that emphasizes indulgence and gratification with health and safety, as well as acquiring a sense of temporary reprieve from the pandemic through consumption during a pandemic. Perspectivation relates to the positionality of writers or speakers through expressions of involvement or distance. These may be realized through deictics. The most common manifestation of this is through the use of pronouns. Figure 7 opens with a voiceover, "Welcome back, vloggers, jet setters, wanderlusters, we've missed you. This is the new normal of traveling, a privilege to be at your service." Within the context of the utterance, "you" anaphorically refers to a specific group of privileged travelers, which may construct travel during a pandemic as an aspirational activity. At the same time, however, in invoking these figures, the voiceover also reinforces the exclusive aspect of travel in terms of mobility associated with such figures. Meanwhile, the use of we is rather ambiguous. Given the video is a promotion by the DOT, we could possibly mean the government agency. At the same time, we may also refer to establishments that remain open during the pandemic. This ambiguity is visually mitigated as the tourists in the videos are picked up by a shuttle bus. Moreover, the use of the pronouns reinforce a cordial customer service relationship where prospective travelers signaled by you are positioned to gain benefit from traveling. Intensification strategies pertain to the modification of utterances. One way in which intensification is deployed is through verb tense. The voiceover in Figure 8, for instance, narrates, "Spectacular beachfronts are your own private island." Visual modes are also utilized to intensify such claims about these kinds of amenities. We see, for instance, a wide shot of the beach that not only emphasizes the vastness of the space, but also its emptiness, which resonates with the linguistic mode. The composition of the shot, along with the linguistic choices, invoke a notion of a landscape that is uninhabited except for the tourist. As Thurlow and Jaworski note, this imagery of emptiness functions to create landscapes of elite destinations through demonstrations of rarity and exclusivity that is for the pandemic traveler to enjoy. In Figure 9, the voiceover expresses an absolute truth claim and investment in delivering exclusivity vis-a-vis dining. We see a tourist eating his meal alone. The use of a medium shot draws attention to the tourist and the environment, which also shows other tourists eating by themselves. Through this, the video similarly achieves a sense of exclusivity, albeit in a less romanticized manner than in Figure 8. It can be seen that intensification discursively and visually reformulates the pandemic as desirable. A sparsely populated beach and a restaurant with patrons dining solo are not necessarily safety measures. Instead, these are also instances of luxury that COVID has created. Challenges to the tourism industry brought upon by the COVID-19 pandemic has prompted governments and establishments to adapt tourism promotions that mitigate the threat of the pandemic while negotiating changes that it has caused to the industry. The study showed how the crisis that resulted from the COVID-19 pandemic is commodified in DOT's New Normal Travel video series. Through a multimodal discourse analysis informed by a discourse historical approach and social semiotics, the study illustrates how different resources are mobilized to integrate COVID-19 into the desirable sphere of tourism. Through language use and visuals, the videos position a pandemic as a challenge as well as a resource aligned with existing modes of capitalist consumption, endowing pandemic tourism with features of eliteness while managing its undesirable aspects. To commodify COVID vis-a-vis travel, the videos stimulate positive affects through humor that may assuage the hesitance of domestic travelers. The use of humor also speaks to Filipino sensibilities, who are largely the target audience of the videos. The videos demonstrate that humor is a way of discursively managing the material and tangible difficulties, disasters, and horrors that COVID-19 has inflicted in the lives of Filipinos. Moreover, as the discussion shows, the negative aspects and the threat of the pandemic are minimized, and notions of fun, comfort, and safety are highlighted instead. Invoking these feelings vis-a-vis pandemic travel contributes to the building of a consumption logic that rationalizes these measures as necessary and this brand of traveling as the new normal. This approach effectively makes the effects of the pandemic on the tourism industry compatible with neoliberal and capitalist imperatives that place responsibility on individuals and their consumption to cope with the pandemic by managing themselves through and during travel. Thank you so much for taking the time to view our presentation. We hope that you enjoy the rest of the Research Congress, and please stay safe and healthy. Thank you very much.